Hello, Scrum enthusiasts. Welcome to the Scrumming with Mike Agile Dojo. This time I brought some Scrum Master friends with me. Ken, Cass, and Sue Lynn. Thanks for joining and taking the next step in mastering Scrum Fu team. Before we get started, I wanted to let you all know that Scrum Fu is fictional, but we thought it would be fun to connect it to today's topic, Shuhari Kokoro. There's a lot to be learned from the levels of maturity in the martial arts that are directly relevant to Agile. It provides a good way of understanding the level of maturity of Agile teams if you think about our current level of knowledge of Agile as it exists today. For those who are new to Agile, here's a quick overview.
Agile is an umbrella term that refers to a specific way of working and mindset. The term Agile dates back to the Agile Manifesto, which declared the following 4 values. 1. People over processes. 2. Products that actually work over extensive documentation. 3. Collaborating with customers over negotiating with them. And 4. Responding to change over following a plan. Scrum is a lightweight framework that puts those values into practice. Scrum is the most commonly used Agile approach.
To be honest, I think we have hardly scratched the surface of the knowledge that is needed about how to successfully do Agile project management. Martial arts have been around for thousands of years, and there's still a lot to be learned, so it's very understandable that our level of knowledge about Agile is very much the same. I was introduced to the concept of Shuhari Kokoro recently, and I found it very useful when learning any new skills, most importantly, Scrum Fu. Shuhari Kokoro is a Japanese martial art concept that is used to describe the stages of learning on the path to mastery.
Over the years, Shuhari Kokoro has been abstracted and applied to the cycle of learning in general. Since there tends to be a lot of learning that happens in Agile, it's very useful here as well. Agile thinkers and many others have written about the use and application of Shuhari Kokoro in Agile environments. In a context relevant to Agile adoption patterns, Shuhari Kokoro is defined as follows. Shu, or learning. In this beginning stage, the student follows the teachings of one master precisely. They concentrate on how to do the task without worrying too much about the underlying theory. If there are multiple variations to do that one task, they concentrate on the one way their master taught them.
Ha, also known as detach. At this point, the student begins to branch out. With the basic practices working, he or she now starts to learn the underlying principles and theory behind the technique. He or she also starts learning from the masters and integrates that learning into practice.
Re, also known as transcend. This is where the student isn't learning from other people, but from their own practice. They create their own approaches and adapt what they learned to their own particular circumstances.
Kokoro, which means the center of the heart. In this case, it's a return to essence and radical simplicity, or returning to the basics and focusing more on the core of the learning. Some people may ask, how can I use this as an Agile adoption pattern? Instead of thinking and assuming that your situation is unique and different and that you must find some custom solution, first ensure you have mastered the basics of the thing you are trying to do. Essentially, start simple with the basics and do those well first. Another good question people may ask is, how do I implement the progression and improvements? There's a pattern and flow to the stand-up that Shu established. That pattern became an unspoken cadence or muscle memory that continues to drive how the team does their stand-ups. That rhythm helped them establish the behaviors of being brief and concise and to have follow-up conversations after the stand-up. The questions and discussion changed over time, but the cadence and flow remained.
Why are these distinctions useful? I think one of the key tricks to this is figuring out the intersection of this line of thinking with real-world situations. I know when I'm coaching and starting to work with a new Agile team, I usually start by looking at the basics to see how well represented they are in the team's process.
First learn, then attach, and finally transcend. I hope this was helpful. Until we meet again, enjoy your day.